Good morning and welcome to Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki and I'm with my co-host
Precious Chukudi.
And this morning we're reviewing the front pages of the papers, and I'll start with that of Vanguard. And here we have economy sinks to three-decade record low as real non-oil gross domestic product records first fall in 3 years. COVID-19 updates. Lagos records 98 new infections as confirmed cases rise to 52,548. You can see more of that on pages 5 and 27. Moving on to other stories below on page 9, we have PDP Obaseki plan to rig a dope pool using ex-INEC staff, and that's coming from APC. And PDP replies allegation false. And on page 10, we have political violence will no longer be tolerated, and that's coming from Akeredolu. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, we have ENUGU CLASH will retaliate attack on our men, and that's coming from IPOB. And the riders, those arrested will be charged to court after investigation, and that's coming from police. It's a systematic killing of our people, and that's coming from MASOP. Igbo professionals seek a judicial inquiry, coroner's inquest, and IGPs should order full-scale investigation, and that's coming from Ohanaeze. And from there, we move straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the Punch newspaper, we have main headline: 6.1% shrinking of economy. Federal government won't be able to service rising debts, fund budget, man others. You can see that story on page 17. The writers also says things are tough for average consumer. Inflation going up, manufacturer says. Tackle rising inflation, unemployment, says Lagos Chamber of Industry. Channel Forex into productive sectors, reduce leakages, NECA advised federal government. And we have Igbo Union condemns ENUGU killings, driver protests members death. You can see that story on page 11. And that's all we can take on the front page of the Punch this morning.
And we'll be going on a short break now. When we return, we'll be analyzing the stories on the pages with you. And of course, we have a guest to be joining us via Zoom, and that's Mrs. Komolafe, former Labour editor of Vanguard newspaper. Stay with us, we'll be back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and I've been doing this with my co-host
Precious Chukudi.
And we've reviewed the front pages of some of the papers, and now this is the analysis segment where we have a guest who will be joining us via Zoom, and that's Mrs. Komolafe, and she's former Labour editor of Vanguard newspaper. Good morning, Mrs. Fumi Komolafe.
Good morning, it's my pleasure to be with you once again.
Thanks for joining us. And let's go straight to the, of course, to talks of the day, and let's discuss Nigeria economy. I know it has actually suffered its worst decline in 3 decades as the gross domestic product contracted by 6.1% year on year in the second quarter. So the key players in the nation's economy, that's including the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and the Labour Chamber of Commerce and Industry on Monday, said the government may not be able to service rising debts and also fund budgets. What's your take on this?
Yes, I think that is expected, given the way the year has started with the economic effects of the global pandemic. And this is not clear to Nigeria alone. If you remember that at the heat of the beginning of the pandemic, there were no oil sales. Nigeria was still selling, and oil prices crashed terribly. It crashed terribly, no one was buying. So that is expected. I think what is important, this is not peculiar to Nigeria, this is going to be many countries have experiences. I think what is how we put our heads together to get out of the recession. Because during this period, factories were shut, no work, informal sector, formal sector, everything got shut down. So we should expect that. But let's hope that we get out of it within a short time.
But we already have a debt, hang all over, and according to the the acting director general of MAN, that's Mrs. Ambrose, it says we don't have much revenue, to pay the debt that we've borrowed, and inflation. Talking about inflation, it's really going up, and also unemployment is going up, and this is one of the major challenges in the economy. So my question is, how do you think we are going to cope at this period, because as it seems the economy is in a very bad shape?
Yeah, if you don't earn, you can't pay debts. That's the reality. However, whether we like it or not, we might have to go and borrow to reflect the economy. If we reflect the economy and you write very well, what has
But don't you think it's risky? Because according to what the Director General is saying, that's Ambrose, he says, we don't really have the revenue to pay what we've borrowed. So now going ahead to borrow again, don't you think it's very risky?
Well, except you're going to rely on taxes and internally generated revenue. And I don't know whether that will be enough to service our local obligations and then meet our international obligations debt-wise. That is a problem. However, problems are for human beings to solve. We must find solutions to this thing. And this is why we need the best of the brains in our economy to assist the government, and I hope that the government takes to genuine advice given by experts who can then provide solutions to the situation we find ourselves.
Okay, thank you. And now, of course, moving on to, let's just discuss Edo politics. Talking about, of course, this Edo, the verbal war between APC and PDP in Edo State, ahead of the September 19 election continued, as APC accused PDP, PDP of, that's Governor Obaseki, of engaging the service of a former staff of INEC, that's Mr. Oluwole Osage, who is also the first cousin of Governor Obaseki. It says he accused him of trying to rig the election with his ideas, and of course him knowing the things that have been going on in INEC, so he's trying to use it. So what do you think about this recent allegation?
Well, this seems to be a very serious allegation. If there's an element of truth in it, it should be properly investigated, and whoever has been named an ex-INEC staff, I don't know whether an ex-INEC staff can have so much influence, but anything can happen in this country. If it's so, then INEC has a responsibility to defend its own integrity. And if you remember that we have had elections that some INEC staff have been jailed, because of their undue influence or interference with election results, or taking bribes from people to manipulate results. So I think that the police, the DSS should step into this, and INEC also should wake up to this. Anyone who is caught doing this unnamed, if the person is still in the system, should be asked to step aside. That is, you cannot be a part of this election. This is a very weighty allegation that could call to question the integrity of the whole exercise. And I do hope that INEC will not ignore it, and the security agencies also will not ignore it, in the interest not just of Edo State, but the collective image of Nigeria as a country.
Okay, still talking about Ohanaeze, saying that he's going to rig the election and prepare pre-written ballots. My question is, do you think is it possible for a statement or political party that has no control over INEC, police, DSS, NSCDC, or military to influence, of course, the results?
Of course, it is possible. Of course, it is possible. You don't have to be in the system. It is a matter of connections, okay? And don't forget that once money is involved, and a lot of money is involved, already a lot of money has been thrown out. So it is very, very, very possible And then the security agency should be called. Anybody who is named or named as a suspect or a potential suspect should be asked to stay far away from this particular.
Okay, Ms. Kamafe will still come back to this. Let's go discuss.
All right, so let's look at coronavirus patients to pay $3,500. That's what the fine says for federal government warning airlines. And but, should there not be a better way to ensure that no COVID-19 patients will board any airline? Because this is about money and it's about the lives of people. Federal government is asking airlines to pay $3,500 if they take in any COVID-19 patients. What's your take on that one now?
Yes, I think it's a welcome development, because already the airlines have a duty to ensure that every passenger that boards the plane has a COVID-19 free test results. Where along the line, and don't forget that we are dealing with human beings. And when you are dealing with human beings, they are capable of manipulating anything. If the airline takes on board a patient someone who doesn't have the required test-free result, then there's nothing wrong with that fine. In fact, that fine is to put in place some kind of fear, if you want to use that word, that is so that the airline, nobody wants to pay that type of money. Nobody wants to part with that type of money now. So now, the thing to do is to ensure that you keep to the regulations and you don't, bring in people who have not subjected themselves to test and are declared test-free, free of COVID-19, because the lives of people in Nigeria is stake here. A person who comes in with that, now our own government has to spend again to isolate that person. They still do anyway to double check, which is very important. So I think that it's in place and it will be a check on the airlines themselves,
but
so that they don't get compromised along the way.
Okay, but don't you think that instead of risking that airlines might, take in one COVID-19 patient, because there are also issues of this person can equally come in contact with other persons. Now, it's not enough to just find them, because other people's lives are also at stake. Should there not be another system where it's not even permissible for people to just get on board, a COVID-19 patient to go on board?
Yes, even right now, it's not possible. No. You are not allowed. A person who is infected or, has contracted the COVID-19 is not expected to be on board. So it is quite in order. I think what the government has done is in order. It's a incentive to make sure that the airlines keep to the regulations. I think it's in order, honestly.
Because also, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, they declared that there is no infrastructure to conduct COVID-19 tests on thousands of passengers that will be using the airports once international flights resume on August 29th. And, seeing that we have barely a week to the resumption of international flights, should that be the case, really?
Yeah, well, that they don't, and you also know that COVID-19 test is not conducted like malaria test that you can get in 30 minutes the result. That is why from the point of departure, a potential passenger is supposed to have gone through the test and submitted the test result to the airline. The same here too, because let's look at it from both ways. People coming in, people going out. It's the same thing. Here also, the regulation says that you must have conducted a test that declares you free at least, I think, 7 or 3 days before you board your flight. These are safety measures.
But then, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is saying they don't have any form of infrastructure, and it should be rather worrisome that they are saying that, at least 1 week before the, flight resumption, international flight resumption would start to take place.
No, I
Okay, Ms. Komolafe, before, we move to this, I told you that we're coming back to that of Edo State. So APC accused Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of diverting state funds, to support the governorship election of Obaseki. And APC, in a statement by its publicity secretary, described the Delta PDP, as the one whose name and activities are synonymous with unseriousness and confusion. He also says that he called them political joblers known to bully every voice that does not align with Pharaoh. And also, reacting to that, PDP publicity secretary Dr. Ifeanyi described APC as a gathering of confused and unserious jokers. So now my question is, what do you think about these statements, from the both of them, describing each other, the two parties? Because Nigerians are beginning to think that is this a part of the political game, or if there's a little truth to what they are saying?
I think that is expected. This is election time. They're going to trade blames. There are going to be accusations and counter-accusations. Now, if the people of Delta, don't care about their governor using the money to support, to put in place another government in Edo State, who is to complain? The truth of the matter is that every party has alliance. It is expected that the APC, governors or friends of APC will also support APC. So there's nothing wrong with PDP governor supporting a PDP candidate in Edo State. Each party wants to broaden its base, okay? But the question is, should the people's money, should taxpayers' money, should budgets meant for development of the state be used to place an individual in power because of party interest that may not benefit Deltas? Because I don't see how an Obaseki as governor of Edo State would be of any benefit to an average person in Asaba or Wari or anywhere in Delta. He's not going to come there to do projects. But these things happen. Let's not pretend that these things don't happen. They do happen, but it is not right. And the earlier we begin to defend our rights and protect our integrity and stop this cash and carry business in politics, the better for us as a nation.
Okay, so lastly on this Edo this thing, I just want to ask you the question: how best do you think we can, of course, they can protect the people of Edo State when it comes to the day of election? Because of course we've been seeing reports and we've been hearing reports and different things about violence that is going to occur on the day of the election in Edo State, and of course many of the citizens are really worried, and they are they just feel like their emotions and different things are being stepped on, and they don't know how they will come out for an election. Because, for example, now someone discussing with me recently that coming out that day it's going to be very, very difficult, and it will really reduce the population of people that will come out. So how best do you think this election can be handled on September 19th?
People come out, voting will take place, but people also need to be vigilant. They have a responsibility to be vigilant. But vigilant, I think right now, these are communities. Communities can set up their own vigilante groups. Watch out. Strange people. If you see a strange person in your community, and you know. So the first thing is for the So people should be alert, watch and pray, and then the security agencies should live up to expectation. And my prayer is that God will give us an election that is as free or freer than that of June 12 in that place, no matter the forces at place.
Okay, let's focus on the IPOB, issue that happened on the weekend. And, the Catholic bishop yesterday said that he has urged people not to engage in reprisal attacks, especially because of what's happening right now in the country, insecurity, violence, over violence and all of that. And, but the leadership of the IPOB, ENUGU, has vowed to retaliate the assault from security agencies from what happened last weekend. What are your thoughts on what happened last weekend, and how best do you think this should be handled? Because they are asking for it to be investigated, but then the IPOB leadership is saying that they are going to retaliate, no matter what it takes. So what are your thoughts basically?
I think both sides are guilty of violence, the security agencies, IPOB, but you don't resolve issues by inflicting more violence or taking to violence. No issues are resolved that way. Were it to have been resolved that way, we will not even get to where we are. Violence would have settled everything, but violence does not settle everything. It aggravates it in its way. I think that IPOB members should heed the advice of the association or group that calls for no more violence, and the security agencies also should understand that these are also Nigerians. They have a right to protest if they are protesting an issue, and it is not right to use the guns that purchased with people's money against the people. It is not right at all. There should be other way. Even if IPOB gets violent, if their protest gets out of hand, there should be a way that security agencies should deal with that issue without costing lives. We don't want any more bloodshed in this country. We've had enough, and I think that is not in the main interest of anybody that this continues.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Fumi Komolafe, former Labour editor of Vanguard newspaper. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
It's my pleasure. It's nice being with you once again. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And that's all we have for you on Today in the News. You can always like and follow us on our social media platforms that are showing on your screen, or visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. Of course, this, I think, just reminder, let's just take a look at, of course, what is going on in our sports. And, of course, at the back we have Chelsea set to eye 90 million pounds advert, and of course Koeman wanted Suarez out of Barcelona, and Osimhen scores a first Napoli goal, and of course we have here both test positive for COVID-19 after 34th birthday party. And lastly, that of Genetro says no one eats for Brian, and that's of Champions League fallout. And you can always get a copy of Vanguard newspaper to get more of these stories. And that's all we have for you on the Vanguard Live Sports. Like I said, you can always follow us on our social media platforms that are showing on your screen to get more of the sports stories and also what we are reporting here. It's bye from me, Damlola Ogunshakin, and also from our co-host.
Thank you for watching.